Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Hospitality Room presented by Mascot Media. Bobby Swofford on the beach, the ocean. How are you, sir?
Good. There it is, right there. It does exist.
Lovely.
Nice to
Nice.
get out of the nice to get out of the office and experience the world for once.
Yeah, how about that? Jeez. You mean there's a world outside our offices?
Allegedly, we don't see them very often, but here we are.
That is that is breaking news right here on the Hospitality Room. Unbelievable. All right, well, let's get right to our topics. And our first topic is Omaha. The field is set. Did you get a chance to watch any of the Clemson and Florida game last weekend?
Yes. So oddly enough, we were driving down to the beach where we flew into Richmond for a wedding, and we're driving down and we're able to listen to and watch most of that game. And who knew that timely hitting mattered in the postseason? And
Yeah,
we didn't see it, obviously, for Arkansas. But yeah, that was an absolutely wild game and unreal that the one team that everybody thought didn't deserve to be in the field of 64 is now in the College World Series.
yeah, and is kind of a dark horse favorite to win the thing.
Yeah. I mean, once you get there, I mean, you know this better than anybody, Blair. Once you're in that final eight, you got
Oh,
your
yeah.
your odds are just as good as anybody else. As long as you play well, get some timely hits, you got a chance to win it.
So, who do you like in this one? We've got North Carolina and Virginia, Tennessee against Florida State in one side, and the other side, Kentucky against NC State, A&M against Florida. I I don't know who stands out.
Yeah, I guess you have to start with Tennessee. I mean, all feelings aside, how you feel about how they play, the attitude that Vitello carries. I mean, they're the number one team in the country for a reason, and they've certainly looked like it. They scored runs and bunches. I know they dropped the one game to Evansville, but I mean that's going to happen sometime. So you kind of have to like Tennessee going into it. I think it's a very odd dynamic. You've only got two conferences represented, 4-4,
Yes.
ACC, ACC. So I mean, I guess you go there, and you know what NC State was able to do in that game three against Georgia. I mean, they could hit the baseball really well. So I might even go Wolfpack to make some noise as well there as well.
The only thing I worry about Tennessee is it's been what since '99, the number one overall seed has not won this thing.
Right.
Um, I wouldn't shock me, and it would drive me nuts in the same breath to see Florida or A&M win this thing.
Oh no, I completely agree. That monkey's been on the back for was it 25 years now. So I
Mm-hmm.
guess that curse has to end at some point. Um, and just how, but the familiarity, obviously, you got three teams from one conference in each bracket. I mean, that's going to cause some crazy things to happen that don't
Yes.
normally happen just because these teams have seen each other. They know the strengths and weaknesses.
In a sense, this is kind of a preview of what we're going to see in the college landscape with conferences becoming massive. It's going to be SEC, ACC, or Big Ten teams, or Big
Yeah.
12. I mean, it's. I don't know. Is that good or bad?
Uh, you know, I on the 10,000 foot view, I think it's bad. But you know, when it's happening, I don't think we're going to care that much, to be honest. As long as the best
Yeah.
teams are getting there, and this is a really good example of it doesn't matter how many teams from your conference make it to a tournament, you've all got a chance to get there. And I think that's what
Mm-hmm.
the new 12-team playoff in football is going to present. Obviously, the field of 68 in basketball does that. We're kind of getting to that point where you can lose 3 or 4 or 5 conference weekends in the SEC now and still have a chance to make a run at Omaha just because of the way the postseason set up.
Yeah, that's a great point. All right, our next headline will kind of put a bow on the Razorback baseball season. Smith and Stovall named all region honors. Smith's up for every award. Gackle and Fisher, freshman All Americans. Fouch and Gackle going to the Team USA. We've had a week to digest it. I don't know. This season just doesn't really. I don't know. It's just kind of another year, right?
It is. I mean, that's what you expect from Arkansas. You expect them to get postseason honors, but I mean, they are who we thought they were. I mean, you've mentioned I have talked about it at nauseum about how they just can't get timely hits. The bullpen would implode at times, and outside of Hagen Smith, they weren't very good. Um, and that's kind of what's reflecting in the postseason. We all thought that Stovall was going to be just one of the dudes in the lineup.
Mm-hmm.
It appeared that he was the only dude other than Peyton Holt. And obviously, you can't win in the SEC and into the postseason with having only one or two hot bats.
Yeah. I saw something on Twitter last night. Already 4,000, I think it was 4,000 college baseball players are in the portal. We have not even played a game in the World Series yet.
Yeah. I mean, it's popped up on my feed a couple of times about who are the players that Arkansas needs to go pursue in the portal. Like, the season's not even over.
Yeah, it's insane,
I
isn't
mean,
it?
so yeah, it is. But I mean, that's what the transfer portal has done to college athletics. It's like there is no off season anymore. There's no downtime. I mean, like you're essentially watching teams in the College World Series saying, okay, can I go poach their players? I mean, that's really
Yeah.
where we're at right now.
Yeah, and the Major League Draft's coming up, which will poach
Right?
more players. So, yeah, it's not a good time to be a college baseball coach unless you're South Carolina. Marineri
Yeah.
back in the SEC. Wow, this was a shocker.
It was. Just to see him, want to take over that program. Obviously, that they really struggled at times, but obviously, a program, if you go back just 10 years ago, was one of the best in the country.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be really intriguing to see. One, not only if he can turn that around, obviously with Georgia and Florida being so good at this point, but the what we were just talking about with the transfer portal. How does he handle that? Because that's a completely different ballgame than what he built his career on at LSU.
Yeah. The one I heard an interesting note, and thinking about this, South Carolina has done well with guys, former coaches who kind of stepped away and then came back. Spurrier, Holtz. So it'll be interesting to see how this. And the SEC is not going to have divisions anymore. So I don't know. The strong get stronger, right?
Yeah, it really does.
Insane. All right. The topic we'll sneak in. Good news for the Razorbacks. Women's track and field team won the national championship. Did you see the 4x400 relay?
I mean, when's the last time you saw any high level event won by 3 seconds? That's
Oh,
unreal.
it's that was insane. I mean, that was just yeah, in this day and age, that was just unbelievable. And wasn't even competitive. I was
Yeah.
that was nuts. So
But
congratulations to Chris Johnson.
here's a question. Here's a
Yeah.
question for you, because obviously winning a national championship is a big deal, no matter what the sport.
Yeah.
Are we known to track and field championships because Arkansas wins so many?
I
I mean,
think
it's just like
so.
another. Oh, okay, they won it. Okay, cool.
No, I would think so. And the sad thing is, I think if the men won, it would have gotten more news than the women who are on a tremendous roll right now, even after a coaching change.
Yeah.
So unbelievable. Congratulations to Chris Johnson and his crew. Well, the big topic, of course, Caitlin Clark not going to the named to the Olympic team. Your reaction, sir?
Uh, I mean, is she one of the best 12 players or 15 players, however big the roster is in women's basketball? Probably not. But you probably need to put her on the roster anyway. Just because if you want more eyeballs on your team to help build the sport of women's basketball, you probably need to put her on there. Sorry, I was trying to avoid a dog over here on the beach. I didn't want to get
Oh,
yeah.
the only podcast that avoids dogs and has a shot clock. The
Yeah.
hospitality room. How about that? Yeah, I mean, it's. I've gone back and forth on this. I get it. But the fact that they keep issuing statements to me just screams out, yeah, we screwed the pooch on this one. Um,
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
it's not like we need our best, absolute best team because in the Olympics, the United States is 72-3 overall. The last time they lost an Olympic game was in 1992. So it's not like I don't know. It was just she probably needs a break because you've had college, now the WNBA, and then she goes to this. But then again, are they scared because if she goes to camp, she's going to get better playing against that group. Are they worried
Yeah,
she's going to become too good? I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. And of course, you've got everybody trying to make it a race deal. I think everybody's seen the social media
Yeah.
post about the five people on the committee who selected the team. I don't think that's it.
No.
I just don't think the people who selected the team don't think that she's earned that right yet. She's only played a handful of games and as a professional, but I think what she did in college kind of was enough to warrant the conversation. Obviously, and that's what you're seeing with the backlash of her not being on the team. I just don't think they're doing themselves a service to women's basketball by keeping her off. Because just think of all the eyeballs that have come to watch her play. They're selling out arenas for the Washington team that's like 0 and 17 or whatever they were. It doesn't make sense to have your biggest attraction not be on that team.
Yes, and if I'm NBC, I am hacked off because I've paid a ton of money to carry this, which is a television show like everything
Mm-hmm.
else, and I want ratings. And Caitlin Clark was going to deliver ratings, and this whole thing, well, people would be upset she didn't get a lot of minutes. I mean, let's face it, there's going to be a lot of garbage time available for this team. So I don't know. There's obviously a serious backlash within the women's basketball community against Caitlin Clark, and it's amazing to watch.
It is, but I mean, at least you've heard the old adage, no publicity you know is worse than bad publicity. So
Hmm.
as long as they're talking about you, I guess you're still in the conversation. People are still talking about women's basketball. It has not forced me to turn on 1 second of a WNBA game, but at least we're
Yeah,
talking about it.
that's true. One final note: the last time the women's national basketball team lost was last summer in the FIBA Women's America Cup. They lost to Brazil. I could only name two players off that team. One of them, Angel Reese.
Yeah.
So, interesting. All right. Bobby Hurley has said no to the Lakers in tremendous wealth, even though he's going to become the highest paid coach in NCAA basketball, according to the governor of Connecticut. Were you surprised it drug out as long as it did?
Yeah, a little bit because especially when it comes out and you hear about the number that was given to him wasn't all that much more than Kentucky had offered him.
Mm-hmm.
And he had always argued that it was his wife that didn't want to leave, and his wife was so committed to staying in I'm using air quotes. I have things in my hand, so I can't do them. A small town, kind of like Storrs, Connecticut, and living kind of a humble life. And you're not going to get in that in Los Angeles. So there's like to me, like it just didn't make sense that he was even entertaining it. And now that so only 11.6 million, which is chump change to you and me,
Mm-hmm.
when Kentucky offered him 11, it's not that much more enticing to go take over an NBA franchise. And let's be real, they already had rumors of trading Anthony Davis. LeBron's been rumored to go play for whatever team drafts Bronny. So like it may be a complete and utter rebuild without the draft pick compensation that teams like Oklahoma City have. So honestly, it's not that enticing of a job to me if you're a coach who's been as successful as Hurley has and has a chance to do something that hasn't been done in 60 years, 70 years, and has won
Mm-hmm.
3 NCAA championships in a row.
Yeah, no question. Well, just the fact that he got back on the plane told you all you needed to know.
Correct.
All right. Speaking of the NBA finals have been rather dull. The Celtics have rolled. The Mavericks Luca looks old and out of shape. I mean, is it over?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Boston is just. They've made all the plays. They make the big timely runs. I mean, you mentioned that Lucas looks like he's hit a wall and he can't carry the team by himself. I think Dallas may still win at home just to avoid the sweep, but I think this one goes no more than five.
Yeah. And the other finals, the Panthers are rolling over the Oilers. This thing is even more dominant than the NBA finals, it seems like.
And this one's surprising. I know that Florida had such a better record, etc. But Connor McDavid had a couple breakaways in game two, and I actually watched a decent portion of the second and third periods. Uh, they can't figure out Bobrovsky, the goalie. I mean, he is
Mm-hmm.
a wall back there, and that's we've seen this so many times throughout history. I can remember the Buffalo Sabres being irrelevant in the regular season, but Dominic Hasek shows up in the playoffs and all of a sudden throws up goose egg after goose egg, and that's what Bobrovsky has been doing for the Panthers up to this point. It's just if you got a hot goalie, it doesn't matter how explosive another offense is. You're throwing pucks at a brick wall and nothing's going in.
Yeah, you cannot beat the hot goalie in hockey. I have to. Which have you watched more of, the Stanley Cup or the NBA Finals?
Oh, the Stanley Cup, no question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm with you there. All right, it is U.S. Open week. Hopefully, Scotty Scheffler will not be arrested this week. There was a photo of the Pinehurst Police Department showing their officers a photo of him. Who do you like this week?
You got to like Scheffler. I mean, he's coming off a win at the Memorial. Obviously coming in hot. Rory's played well at Pinehurst in the past. John Rahm not being in the fields. He pulls out earlier this week. Is going to take a blow. But you got to start with Scheffler and kind of work your way down. Maybe it's Xander Schauffele. I think it's a matter of time before Colin Morikawa gets back in the winner's circle.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but we've seen it. Rarely do you get a nobody win the U.S. Open. I mean, the
Yeah.
courses are so tough, and I've seen a couple of videos about how fast the greens are rolling. Ball that's supposed to be on the middle of the green just rolls all the way off to the front edge. It's going to be a very, very entertaining 72 holes.
I think it needs to be entertaining because the first two majors have been kind of dull. If golf doesn't get a competitive major, I don't know. It might go the. It's not going to help matters. Let's say.
Yeah,
Is that?
I agree. Yeah, and then they need. I'm going to say this: like they need a dominant player that's marketable. Like Scotty
Mm-hmm.
Scheffler could stand next to me, and I'm not sure a lot of people know who he is.
Yeah.
They don't have that giant personality of someone going out there and being dominant and also being recognizable and marketable. They just don't have that right now. But also, they're still picking up the pieces from the split with the Live Tour and the PGA Tour, and they're trying to mend that fence. But there's just so many holes, and I think a lot of people have lost interest in it. I know that they're going to claim that golf's interest is still as high as ever, mainly because of the gambling aspect of it. But I don't think the casual fans tune in on Sunday anymore like they used to with Tiger and Phil Mickelson and players like that.
Yeah. No, I agree. There's no personality out there, and Scheffler, as great as he is, he's just there's not a lot of personality. But Justin Spieth, the same way, just not a lot of charisma, if you will. All right. Football time. Let's talk some football. Razorback football in 79 days. Hey, they came out with the kickoff windows. This is now the TV thing. You have your early window, your afternoon window, your night window, and your flex window. And the Razorbacks are looking at a lot of early windows. Texas, 11 a.m. People are beside themselves with that game being an 11 a.m. game. I don't know. It's good and bad. Your thoughts on all this? I mean, they've sold their soul for TV, so TV's going to dictate it. Why is everybody
Yeah.
all up in arms?
Well, it's the tailgating aspect of it. Arkansas has been stuck in that early window essentially since Brett Bielema was fired. And they can't get out of it. They've been irrelevant. And when you're in the SEC, the primetime games has always been 2:30 or 6:30 or 7. When you're in the Big Ten or the Big 12, the primetime slot's at 11, and they're not complaining about it. But it's all
Mm-hmm.
about those home games, and they want to be able to go out and tailgate and enjoy the atmosphere and the pageantry, if you will, of game day in Fayetteville. You can't do that when you're kicking off at 11 a.m. In Arkansas, getting one, maybe two night games at home a season doesn't do you any favors as far as recruiting because those recruits have to get up earlier than they're used to, and then go to a game, and then of course you've got all that downtime in the afternoon. It's really different if you're a high school kid. You roll in on Friday night, you got all day Saturday to check out the facilities, check out the tailgate area, and then roll right from the game into a party that night. It's not the same when you're finishing up at 2:30 in the afternoon.
Oh, no question about it. And speaking of tailgating, that's one thing that is not going to be allowed at the college football playoff, which is insane. And it's going to be on Thursday and Friday, the semifinals, and of course the finals is always on Monday. But they're not going to allow tailgating at college football playoff. What?
How are they going to stop that?
I'm sure they've got their means of doing it. Well, if you pay, but it's insane. I mean, what are we doing? That is part of
Well,
I mean, that is college football 101.
I guess at these semifinal sites, a lot of those are NFL stadiums, and they probably don't have the space that a lot of other places do, like the college campuses. the tailgate,
Yeah.
but like nobody's going to stop them from partying in the parking lot. Never stopped
Yeah.
me before.
That's true. That'll be interesting to see how all that plays out. So, the Razorbacks, we do know Pine Bluff is 6:30, Oklahoma State 11, UAP UAB at 3:15, Auburn's a flex, A&M's a afternoon, Tennessee flex, LSU at night. Early, 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 early. A lot of early games for the Hogs.
There is,
So,
more times than not. I don't know if Arkansas A&M at AT&T Stadium's ever been a night game. I'm pretty
I
sure
don't think
that's
it
always been an
has.
11 or a
Yeah.
3. And that may be a stadium mandate that hey, we need it early to turn the stadium around for the Cowboys the next day. Um, I don't think enough people have talked about Arkansas UAPB getting moved to a Thursday is getting enough run. I mean
That's
that's
true.
going to be really intriguing. It's going to be on ESPNU. So I mean, I get why Arkansas does it. A night game in Little Rock's a whole lot better than an 11 a.m. kick, which that game was probably going to be.
Hmm.
So weather wise, it should be more conducive to fans. And also, you can start the ultimate Arkansas football week that week. You got high school football kicking off, and now on Thursday the Hogs playing, and that Saturday Arkansas State's playing UCA. So you got
Mm.
your four Division I football programs all playing each other on opening week. I think it's a great week for Arkansas football.
Oh, I'm with you. I think that's going to be awesome. All right, let's talk NFL now. Mike Tomlin, 3-year extension. A little surprising, don't you think?
It is, yeah. I know they've had that run of never having a losing record, but they're scuffling. But they believe in that they have one of the premier head coaches in football, and I don't disagree with them to be honest. But it's been a long time since they won a Super Bowl, 13 years.
It
It's been a long time since they were really competitive. I'd say 3 or 4 years. So this year and next year is going to be really big. And I know they've got Russell Wilson coming in at quarterback, but they got to show something this year in a really really tough division.
I almost think they're doing it to keep him from coaching another team.
I can see that. Yeah.
I mean, because let's face it, he would be a very hot commodity that would be scooped up. Probably he wouldn't even have to do TV for a year if he didn't want to. But I mean, that division: Browns, Bengals, Steelers, and I'm leaving somebody
Ravens.
else. Raven. I mean, that is
The
just
Ravens.
that is just a nasty loaded division.
Yeah. But I mean, which goes further. I mean, obviously the success that they have had, which hasn't been as much as in decades past, but to have a winning record every year, going against 6 games against those teams, and that's saying something. I'm not as high on the
Yeah.
Browns and Deshaun Watson as a lot of other people are, but I mean their defense is still very very good, and so you got to find ways to win games, and maybe he can get more out of Russell Wilson than Sean Payton could.
Do you think it's going to be Wilson, or do you think Justin Fields might end up being the guy with Arthur Smith running the offense now?
I think at least to start this season as Russell Wilson, I think they start to sprinkle in Fields, and if he plays well in the limited snaps that he gets, I think that he may have a chance to take over. I really do.
Yeah, I heard something interesting. It made me think. They're not obligated. I mean, Wilson's playing for like a million. Fields is playing relatively cheap, so it's not like there's a financial incentive to play one quarterback over the other. They can play whichever one's got the hot hand, so to speak, which is
Yeah, I
kind
mean,
of nice.
yeah, Denver's paying all the money for Russell Wilson's contract right now. I mean, Fields is on that rookie deal that so much of it was already guaranteed at signing, so that they essentially got him for pennies on the dollar. So you're right; they have the luxury that a lot of people don't. They're going to be able to sit there and play who's ever best. It's kind of like compare this to teams who sign a veteran but draft a rookie. Like they can play
Hmm.
either one of them. There's really no penalty either way.
Yeah. Well, the Falcons. You've got Kirk Cousins, then you've also got I can't
Yeah,
remember
Penix.
Penix. So and another quarterback making news. Aaron Rodgers, shocking, making news. I know. Absent from minicamp after telling everyone to eliminate the distractions, think about football and football only, and Aaron's not at minicamp because he's doing
Yeah,
something else.
yeah. And apparently he told the Jets months ago that this would happen. But if that was the case and it wasn't a big deal, I got a hand for you now. I can do the air quotes. If it wasn't
Oh
a big
yeah,
deal, then the coach doesn't come out in the press conference and make it a big deal.
yeah.
So I mean, he doesn't need to be there. I get it. He's 40 something years old, coming off a significant injury. It's just it's a bad look because this is it for him. Like if he doesn't play exceptionally well, he's done in the NFL. Because if he comes out and plays average, they can't afford to pay him the amount of money that he demands for an average quarterback.
Yeah. Well, he's running the Jets. I mean, it's like LeBron runs the Lakers, Aaron Rodgers runs the Jets, and they're a clown show.
You're right, 100%.
It's just incredible. Um, whoops, wrong one. There we go. Um, I'm. Oh, my shortcuts are not working. Anyway, um, NC State's 83 team is suing the NCAA for NIL. I know it's not NFL news, but okay. Is it back now?
Got you there.
Okay, yeah. My computer has totally flipped out. The 93 NC State team is suing for NIL, saying the NCAA's unauthorizedly used their image of and likeness. How insane is this?
So we're talking about something that was 30, almost 40 years before NIL, and they're going to come back and say, oh, just because you're showing our airball and dunk and Jimmy V running around is that's marketable. I mean, come on, get out of here with that.
I mean, that's just what are we doing nowadays? It's
Well,
just
it's yeah. When the NCAA decided to give Reggie Bush his Heisman Trophy back, and if they reinstate USC's national championship, like now we're just going to be it's going to be total anarchy. Next thing we know, they're going to repeal the death penalty they gave to SMU. I mean, it's like I don't know what we're doing in the NCAA anymore. It's turned into a clown show.
unbelievable. So, how much longer you got at the beach, and what are your big plans? What's the best thing to do at the beach?
The best thing to do at the beach is stand here and look at this. To be quite honest.
Yes.
But so we're here until Sunday. So we'll fly back on Sunday and get back to the grind. We got All-Star games next week in Conway for the Coaches Association. But I mean, we'll do a lot of lounging, a lot of adult beverage drinking, and a lot of staring at the beach. Big fan of doing all those. I never took beach vacations as a kid, so when
Yeah.
I came 3 years ago, it was my first ever beach vacation, and I am all about it. You get hot, you
Nice.
go jump in the, and then you come back and you do more lounging. It's pretty low key around here.
What is the hot topic at the beach right now?
Well, we went to a wedding, and so an uncle by marriage got married for the first time, and he's 58 years old. So that was a really hot topic, for at least for the first couple of days. And you will not believe how much conversation, maybe loud conversation, goes into what we're having for dinner on a given night.
Oh
I
wow.
don't know. I don't understand why that's such a difficult decision to make. But when you get family members involved, apparently it is. It's not my family. It's my family by marriage, but I just sit in the corner and kind of laugh at it.
I know the feeling. I know the feeling. Well, all right, man. Have a great time. Um, it looks like you're having a blast. You should continue to have a blast. We'll give you the final word today.
Blair, I'm gonna have a beer for you.
Oh, I appreciate it, sir.